7 billion is not a lot of money. Well, from seeing red to yellow now, all of Africa's leading economies, of all of them rather, South Africa has the most expensive cellular data. Studies have shown that since 2014, the price of 1 gig of data has flatlined at around 150 rand, something that's invited criticism from social movements and competition commissions alike. MTN finally seems to be doing something about that. It slashed data prices, a move it says is in direct response to the data must fall movement. MTN SA's executive for Corporate Affairs, Jacqui O'Sullivan, joins us in studio now. Thanks so much for your time, Jacqui. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
So you heard there in that sound clip, one person even saying MTN invented Please Call Me, not Vodacom, but we won't talk about that. Let's talk about you slashing prices. There are calls from some people saying that they're going to move from Vodacom to other networks. A strategic move, or were you thinking about this for a while?
So we've been working on this for a long time. In fact, we spoke about it towards the end of last year. In the second half of last year, our CEO made it quite clear that we were looking to see how we could get rid of the pain points that our customers feel. And the out-of-bundle pricing is something of a legacy in the South African mobile market. And it was something that we really felt needed to be changed. So by looking at out-of-bundle pricing and seeing how we could really make a significant difference, we realized that by just changing the rates, we would be solving a significant concern for South Africans. And really what we've done is we've looked at the difference between standard rates, which is what you would pay if you were not buying a bundle, versus what you call out-of-bundle rates. So those are people who buy a bundle, but then complete that bundle and then go out-of-bundle rates. So we made quite a significant decision to drop those rates to 49 cents per meg for people who are buying bundles and then going out of the bundles. And then for those who are paying the standardized rate, we'll be looking to charge 29 cents, which for some people will be up to a 75% drop in what they have been paying for out-of-bundle rates.
Are you going to warn people before they go out of bundle?
Yes, so the new ICASA regulations are kicking into effect at the end of this month. So we have been working furiously to get ready for that. It's required a huge amount of system changes, and one of the requirements are the notifications. So we'll be letting people know when they've reached 50, 80 and 100%. But the other big change from those regulations is that you'll no longer be able to just automatically go out of bundle. Effectively, what will happen is everybody will be barred from going out of bundle, and you'll have to actually opt in to be able to sort of go beyond your bundle. So that's a big step change for South Africans. So we'll be doing quite a lot of education in the course of the month to make sure people understand why they're getting more notifications, why they suddenly get stopped during a session while they're on the internet.
Yeah.
They're busy Googling something, it suddenly stops, just so that they understand, you know, this has been put together to be able to give the customers more control and to also have more transparency over what they're spending their data on.
Now, your customers, and many South Africans will say this, data is still too expensive in South Africa. Are there any plans to actually see overall prices drop in that regard?
So overall prices have been consistently dropping over a number of years. And the effective rate that we saw just over the last year, we saw a significant drop in just 2018. We think that it is certainly true that data in South Africa, it is not as cheap as it could be. It's not the most expensive. On the continent, it's not the most expensive.
In leading economies?
In leading economies? No, it is. The important thing is to be able to consider what are the comparisons. So relatively speaking, the data is not extraordinary, but we think at MTN we can do better. So the first start is around this. The second thing is looking at how do we provide promotions and bundles that people actually want. And then a third really key element is what we call personalized packaging. So that's actually looking at your usage as an individual and creating packages that we offer to you specifically, because we can tailor that to exactly what you need. By introducing things like social bundles, you're able to offer people bundles for what exactly it is that they want to do. Why pay for to be able to use Facebook if you're never on Facebook, you're only ever on Instagram and WhatsApp. Yeah. So then you can limit yourself. So I think we'll be seeing the industry moving to a much higher degree of tailoring and a much higher degree of personalized offerings as we are able to do a lot more analysis of the big data that comes in through to us.
So Jack, you'll have people sitting at home watching saying, that's rubbish. It's still expensive in South Africa. And some network providers have gone to ICASA to argue against dropping prices dramatically even, defending why prices are so high. How then do you argue Telkom's rates being lower than most of the other networks, yet Telkom is still making profits through its mobile service?
So what we have to look at is the infrastructure that is invested in basically what gets put in the ground. So MTN has spent over 40 billion rand in the last 4 years to strengthen its network. So we've got the best network in the country, and we have agreements with Cell C. Telkom is still roaming on our network at the moment, even though they will be moving. So there is an enormous amount of capital investment that goes into this. These networks have to be serviced, and the other interesting thing that we have in this country is that we still have a heavy reliance on 2G, 3G, and 4G. And the thing with each of these different technologies is it's almost counterintuitive because 2G is in fact more expensive than 3G and 3G is in fact more expensive than 4G. And in a country where the bulk of the voice population, the voice calls that are made are still on 2G, that's still a very expensive a system to operate on. So the really positive things that we're seeing that's going to really signal great changes in terms of data pricing is really what we're hearing out of the minister. In the form of the spectrum release. Because by releasing that spectrum, it gives us the opportunity to be able to really provide much greater 4G functionality and start to offer things like voice over LTE, so voice over 4G, which starts to take away that reliance on the 2G network. The spectrum that is meant to be released this year, and we're very sure it will be released this year, is going to be a significant step change for the South African mobile industry.
Well, we're all hoping for cheaper data, I can tell you that much. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was Jacqui O'Sullivan, Executive for Corporate Affairs at MTN South Africa.